Always make sure your rim is smoothed. I'm just using the sponge to smooth that out. Before I take this off the wheel, I'm going to trim the bottom. This is a really simple way to trim, is just to use a loop tool and hold it again at 3 o'clock. Make sure you have a really good hold on it because it could catch the clay and lose control. But you're not going very fast at this point. This is a good reason to take your foot off the pedal because a lot of times people get to these end points and all of a sudden they start going really fast and their whole clay, their whole piece does what, do you think? If you started going really fast right now, what might happen? What do you learn in science about that force that pulls things outward when they're spun really fast? What's it called? Centrifugal force, right? So you have that on the wheel, so don't go really fast all of a sudden because you can lose whatever it is you're making. Anyway, so I just use that tool to carve some of this off because remember I told you before that on the wheel sometimes people have the tendency to leave stuff really thick at the bottom, so this just helps with that before you even take it off the wheel. You don't have to worry about it being too thick. Plus, that helps the shape, right? Doesn't that look a little nicer to have that come in a little bit? Okay, when you get to the point of you think you're done, you like the shape, you are ready to take this off of the wheel. So write this down, this is the next step. How do you get your piece off of the wheel? That's kind of crucial, right? Once you've made it. I clean the wheel head first. So I'm going to use my sponge. I got some water out of my bucket. And I'm just pressing that and letting the wheel spin to clean all of that clay off. So I have a nice clean surface, and because my piece is going to have to slide on the wheel to slide off onto the back. So I want to make sure I have a nice clean surface to start from. Okay, and then I need a bat, actually. And you've got your bat, and I'm going to show you this, and then you need to write down notes on how to clean up too, make sure. I'm going to take off one side of my splash guard, and I'm just going to set it. It's fine. So you can have somebody help you do this, or you can do it by yourself. I'm going to do it by myself so you can see that that's possible. And then I'm going to get some water, and I'm kind of going to make a puddle behind my piece and in front of it. And then I'm going to use a wire tool. I'm going to wrap the wire tool around my hand like this so it's kind of shorter and tight. And then with my thumbs pressing the wire down to the wheel head, I'm going to cut through. This is going to move, I think. Yeah. Okay. And then once I know it's loose, then I'm going to hold my bat underneath with my whole arm like this so that it's not going to, I'm going to have a good, hold of it. I'm going to line it right up to the edge so that piece is going to slide off right onto my bat. But I need a puddle on my bat. So I've got some water for that to slide on. And then I'm going to push my piece from the back just with like the side of my hand so it's not just like one fingertip. And then just slide it right on to the back. Okay. And then what do I need to let this piece do before my next step? I need to get it leather hard. So I want to make sure I do not just leave this out on the shelf. That's very important. It needs to get leather hard. So I want to cover it loosely in a bag. If I finish this and I still have like an hour of class left, then maybe I should blow dry it to get it to leather hard. But if you're just like between classes, put a bag over it but kind of loose so it will get air and start to dry. Okay, here's what I want you to do for cleanup. First, check your splash guard. If there's any clay like this, what you can do is put any really wet clay, or say you totally screwed up and you had to start over, any of this really wet clay, you can add into its own bag, like get another plastic bag. I have some powder, and I will tell you this, you guys, working on the wheel is very messy, and I want to make sure that you know that it's a privilege. I don't usually let my classes, Ceramics 1 classes, do this ever, so you should feel pretty special, so please do a really good job cleaning up so I don't feel like I should regret it or that we should just not do the wheel and you can just do coils instead. So there is powder clay in a bin underneath the wedging table in the corner. You can wedge that with this really wet clay to get it back to like a normal consistency of clay, and keep it in its own bag so it doesn't get your like fresh clay all wet. That's your first thing to do, is separate out that clay. Then I'll take my splash guards and I'm going to dump this extra water into my bucket like that. I do not want you to carry these to the sink. Does everybody hear that? We're not taking splash guards to the sink. Then I'm going to do that with my other piece. Whoops, my other splash guard. There. Then I'm going to take and do all of my cleaning right here at the wheel. So I can use a wooden rib, spin my wheel, hold the flat part down, and scrape off the extra clay that's left over from my piece. Take my sponge, just like I did before, and wipe my wheel clean. Don't forget the side of the wheel head. People always forget that. Then I'm going to use my sponge, and I'm going to wipe my splash guards. Keep rinsing out my sponge and wipe my splash guards right here at my wheel. Okay, so you're doing all of your cleaning at your wheel. If you need to get new water, you can get new water. But this really clayey water in here, this is awesome slip. See this slip? This is like perfect for scoring and slipping. Save this in your little slip container and then use it when you do the rest of your stuff. It's awesome. If not, then just throw this away. If you're not going to save it, throw it away. Do not, I repeat, put it where? In the sink. Do not put it in the sink. Okay, this watery stuff at the top can go in the sink. That's fine. But everything else needs to go either in the trash or in another container that you're going to save it with. Okay. And then I would continue to wipe down the surface of the wheel everywhere. My tools, clean those off as well with a sponge. In the sink, you could do the tools. I just don't want the splash guards in the sink, okay? You could do your tools in the sink, though, if you wanted. But clean those off before you put them away. Okay, questions about cleanup. I will give you, if you're working on the wheel, you'll get almost 10 more minutes to clean up than everybody else because that's how long it takes to clean up on the wheel. The wheel is awesome and fun, but yes, it is more messy and more time to clean up. So, you know, you take the good with the bad, right? Do you have any questions about wheel throwing? Are you excited to do this? Okay, so today there's about 30 minutes left. What I want